Hi, my name is Wade Sims. I'm here with Coach Wade here, LSU basketball, men's basketball coach, and I'll let him explain to you what he does here at LSU.
The head basketball coach here at LSU. I'm in charge of all facets of our program. Obviously, how we play on the court, but also compliance, our players' social lives, our players off the court. I'm in charge of a staff of managers, athletic trainers, and administrative staff. So overall, I oversee about 40 people total in our program, and I'm in charge of every bit of their daily lives.
All right, here I'm going to ask him a few questions. What 3 words would you best describe yourself?
I would say I'm detail-oriented. I know that's 2 words, but I'm very detail-oriented. I'm very aggressive. I like to go after things. I don't sit back and wait on things. And then I try to be committed. I want to be very committed to our team, to our players, to our university, to our state. I try to do everything with that in mind.
All right, how would a former boss or employee describe you?
I don't know. Hopefully they describe me as a hard worker, somebody who sets the pace, sets the tone for how they want things done.
All right, what are your key components of making a difficult decision?
I think the number one thing when you're making a difficult decision is you've got to calm down. A lot of times you get all fired up, and usually it's good for me to take 4 to 6 hours to calm down because your initial reaction is usually wrong. So I think if you calm down one and then you have all of the information, I think a lot of times you make decisions with only partial information. The whole point's to have all the intel. If you have all the intel and you're calm and you make a rational decision, most of the time you'll make a good decision. As a coach, you're tasked with that multiple times a day, just simple decisions that affect a lot of people's lives. So you want to have as much information as possible, and you want to be as decisive as possible, as quickly as possible, to the best of your ability.
So, how would you handle change and give an example?
Yeah, I think change is good. I think people are scared of change. I think anytime you change, it's a chance for you to upgrade, a chance for you to get better at all facets of what you do. So a lot of people look at change as kind of a negative connotation, but I'm not one of those. I like confrontation. So if something's got to be confronted or something's got to be hit head on, I don't mind doing that. I think that's a part of leadership that you have to have, is that you have to be able to confront things head on. Really in our program, there's all sorts of change all the time. Sometimes you've got to change out players. You've got to tell somebody that, hey, maybe this isn't the best fit for you. And like I said, when you have those difficult conversations, the best way to do it is just to be quick and short. They know it's coming. There's no need to explain yourself. And then you need to upgrade. You need to upgrade from the person that you changed from.
Yes, sir. What are important skills needed when managing other people?
Yeah, I think you've got to, as best you can, try to put yourself in their shoes. It's easy to look at things from your perspective, but I try as best I can to put myself in their shoes. You try to have some empathy for people if they're going through difficult times or going through difficult situations, and I try to judge them based on what I think they would, what I think they're trying to get across. Maybe not exactly what they're getting across, and so. I think if you look at every situation is different. I tell our players all the time, Wade, you're one of our players, but we're not going to treat you all equally, but we're going to treat you all fairly. And that's what I try to do, is treat everybody fairly. If Wade's a 50% three-point shooter and I'm a 20% three-point shooter, if I treated us equally, we'd each take 5 threes a game. Well, the reality is if I treat us fairly, Wade's going to take 8 threes a game. I'm going to take 2 threes a game. That's a lot better way for things to go. So I try to treat everybody as fair as possible, and have empathy for tough situations.
So, how would you describe a great leader?
Being a leader is lonely. You don't have a lot of friends. There's not a lot of, people that you can count on. But I think the number one thing you got to be decisive. You can't be in the middle. You can't be wading back and forth. You've got to have a clear vision, clear goals. You got to be decisive in how to get there, and to get people to want to follow you there, and get people to want to, follow your lead. And I think the way you do that is you lead from out front. You can't be on the back lines. You can't be waiting behind. You got to be the guy that's out there out front. You got to put yourself out there the most. You got to have the most to risk and most to lose. And when you do that, I think the other folks will follow behind you.
Yes, sir. What do you imagine yourself doing in 5 years?
Hopefully, I'm still doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, I'm still the coach at LSU. They haven't gotten tired of me yet. And I'm still, coaching and affecting lives. I'm a teacher by trade. I was a high school history teacher before I got into this. And so my whole goal is to, help people get where they couldn't go by themselves. And so, in 5 years, that means I've had multiple guys graduate. I've had a bunch of guys who are hopefully playing professionally and into their careers and fathers. And so I want to be here to continue to be a resource for them, continue to help them out, and continue to help them in their lives.
There you have it. Thanks, Coach Wade, LSU men's basketball.